My name is Rachel Stewart and I am Data Support Specialist here at PTFS Europe. And I'm going to talk today about the data migration process. So this video is aimed specifically at new customers who are moving from another library system onto the Koha system. So the first stage in exporting the data is that we will set up an account for you on Nextcloud. So Nextcloud is our secure file sharing platform. We'll set you up an account, you'll receive an email from us, and from that you'll be able to set your own password. We'll also send you some instructions on how to do the next steps on Nextcloud. So you'll then have to export your data using usually the tools from your current library management system. So this is usually the case. You might be able to do it through reporting or through exporting marked data. But sometimes it may be that you need to contact your current library management system supplier in order to ask them to extract the data for you. Or to ask them how you need to do that. We do have some notes. We have covered most library management systems now. So if we do have any notes available, we will forward those on to you. Okay, so once you've got the data off your current management system, you'll then need to upload that data onto Nextcloud, and we'll send you some instructions on how to do that. In terms of the format of those files, we would prefer them to be, for the bib data, in marked format, and for the other data to be in tab separated files. We can do other data formats as well. So, for example, recently we've just done an XML format. If you're concerned, come and speak to us. One thing that we would ask you not to do is to do comma separated files, and the reason being is that the commas will get confusing in the data, and we won't know whether it's the end of a field or whether it's something that's contained within that data field. Whatever it is that you do in order to get that data off your system, please do make a note of it whilst you're doing it, because you will need to do exactly the same process again further down the line when we get to asking you to do your final data extract. Also, there's no need to worry too much about tidying up. That isn't required. We can do some tidying up possibly as part of the process. So if there is anything, then speak to us about that. Okay, so the next stage, so once we've received the data via Nextcloud, we'll pull that down and put that onto your new server, and then we will do some data analysis on it. So what this means is that we'll pull out some of the fields which we then need to discuss with you. So we will do a data mapping workshop, us and the project managers, and what we'll do with your data is pull out fields such as the libraries, item types, location, format, user categories, but there may be other things as well. We might find some other patron attributes in there or some other fields that we think look quite interesting. So we pull those out for you as well. So just a note that mandatory fields, so we have to have, so for every item, we have to have an item type, and it has to be associated with the library. And for users, we have to have a user category as well, and all other fields are optional. It's also an opportunity, so going back to talking about cleansing of the data, it's an opportunity for you to think about whether you want things to change, whether you want to delete fields that are no longer needed. So try and have a think about any of those kind of opportunities as well as we're doing this. Okay, so once we've had the data mapping workshops, and at that point you will have gone away and set up the mappings for us to tell us where you want the fields in your current system to end up in Koha. We'll then go away and start creating the load scripts. So what we will aim to do is to set you up a test data load. We will load the data onto Koha so that you are able to see how your bibs and items and all the user data, how that will look in the new system. Obviously, in order to do that, it's better if you can have the training. So at this point, we'll have the training on the system, and then that will equip you better for testing this data. We'll have a spreadsheet where you can write down any feedback, and the project managers will help you with that. So we'll then all meet up to have a a feedback meeting where you can give us some more information about some of those things, and we can ask for examples and all those sorts of things, so that we can get to the bottom of any issues. So once you've had the test system for one, you've had an opportunity to do some testing and give us some feedback. We'll make a decision about whether we need to do an interim load or not. So we would only really do these if there was a lot of feedback coming back from after the test load. It's a similar kind of process. We do this on the testing, similar process to testing, and then we'd ask you for your feedback, and then we'd go away and make those changes ready for the final load. So the more testing that you can do before you go live, the better really, and the earlier that you can do it as well, just gives us an opportunity to really iron out any issues. Okay, so when it comes to the final data load, we will need another data extract. So this is when we'd need you to go back to exactly what you did for the initial data extract and do exactly the same. We will have coded our scripts to expect the data to be in the exact same format, which is why we asked that. So we'd ask you again to upload into Nextcloud, then we'll pull it off there. The important thing to note here is that as soon as you do your final data extract, that's when your current system freezes. So any updates that you make after that time, you will need to make a record of and will then need to be manually added to the new Koha system. So we'll then upload your data. Then the project managers will do some initial testing, and then we'll hand it over to you. And then when you have agreed go live, we'll then pass you over to support. So in terms of the data team, that's us nearly completed there. The only other thing to say really is that after a month, we will clear down the data from Nextcloud. So that just gives us a month's kind of grace in case we need to get that data again. And we clear down all the user data. We clear down everything off your system after a year. So this gives us an opportunity to go back and test things out if we come across any issues in the next year. And after that, we remove all the user data. And in fact, we remove all of the data. We just leave some of the scripts there. So we could rerun if we needed to. Thank you for listening.